If you want to get the top odds every time, bet with TopSport's Same Game Multi. TopSport. Feel the excitement. Gamble responsibly.
Welcome back to another edition of the Same Game Multi podcast. Thank you once again for joining us. And for those that are viewing us on YouTube, you'll notice something a little bit different. We've got a new set. Brand new set, boys. Pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's looking the goods. It's been a little while in the making, but it's ready to rumble now.
Definitely has been.
Yeah, I'm no master builder. The boys did most of the work here. It looks pretty sensational, I reckon.
Liking the North Sydney Bears jersey up there as well, boys. Bit of the old school, bringing it back.
That's it, bring it back.
New set, same crappy show, so I do apologise for that. But I'll tell you what, boys, one guy that isn't crappy, that is Tristan Merlehan, the CEO of TopSport. And he joins us now, mate. Tristan, how are you?
Yeah, very good, very good. It's been a entertaining couple of weeks for the show here, boys. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the new studio goes and if we can maintain the momentum we've been building.
Yeah, it's been good, mate. We've been excited. It's been, like Berto said, a long time coming. But yeah, we finally got the goods happening. We'll probably tweak it a little bit. But yeah, we're pretty happy with it.
Good stuff.
Mate, we forgot last week. We were a bit short of time. That was our fault, but our TopSport topped that moment of the round. So we're going to hit that first up. Each of us will pick a moment of the round last week, and you'll be the winner you'll be the decider as to who wins. Who wants to kick it off?
I'll kick it off. It's a bit of a tricky one, but it's the bring back of the send-off. Lawton in the Manly game got the send-off. What most people these days tend to say it's all dead and gone, but on the weekend it came back, so it's good to see the send-off. Unfortunately, it was a fairly horrendous tackle, but I'm going to give the top that the send-off isn't a dead thing.
Yeah, I think it deserved a send-off too, personally.
I just had to check my phone, making sure these odds were correct, and they are. Mate, mine runs into that as well, but it's Cam Murray bouncing back from that tackle, stood back up, kept playing, unlike some other players that also been in the same same situation. Yeah, Mr. Lodge, that one's directed straight at you, mate. Yeah, so Cam Murray, mate, yeah, jump back up. Bit overblown that whole incident, but is what it is.
Boys, I've got two. One actually comes from the week before, and that was Chanel Harris-Tavita playing, I think, 45 minutes with a busted nut. Tristan, I know you got a young daughter there, and you've probably been kicked in the gangoolies a few times, so you know what it's like. So all credit to him. But my one from last week was Nathan Cleary. After the games, taking his shoes off, climbing up in the stands, young disabled kid up there in a wheelchair, posing for photos. And even before the game, I've seen on the footage as well, he's out there signing autographs for the people, hanging over the walkway to the tunnel. Just a all-round good bloke, but that young kid, he'll remember that for the rest of his life. So
yeah, 100%.
Great work. Over to you, mate.
These are some good options there. Yeah, I do. I've got a couple of young kids, so I wish I had a bust one up probably 6 or 7 years ago. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. But I was really impressed with Nathan Cleary as well. I think those are the things that potentially don't get as much prominence in the media. I know people are always quick to point out when someone does the wrong thing. So I thought that was really good. And yeah, as you say, the kids, and not just everyone around that situation will remember that for a long time. But I want to touch on the send off, because I agree. I think it should have been a send off. I thought Manly did really, really well to fight and compete for 70 minutes with a player down, but I've always been a big proponent of whether there's an injury or not an injury, it's the action, and I think Cam Murray getting up and it still being the same result, I think is a really positive situation for down the line, because I hated seeing Matt Lodge lay down and get the penalty and sort of rewarded for that action, whereas Cam Murray got up and managed to, and the right ruling was still made, and so to me, I think that was probably the highlight of the week, that he went on. He still had a really, really good game, and yeah, unfortunately for Lawton, it was a tough situation, but I'm sure as he come out there was no malice in it. But I think it was probably the right decision. So that's my one for this week.
I think that might be a joint winner there. I think
I'll take it.
Piggybacked off each other like you normally do, so that's good to see.
Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary.
Fantastic, mate. Hopefully we'll have some great moments coming out of this week's games as well. All right, let's get into the games, mate. Big one kicking us off. South up against the Broncos. Adam Reynolds up against his old club. didn't get to feature in the first round clash that they had. So interesting to see how he goes up against his old club. Where's the money going for this one, mate?
Yeah, the money's going the Rabbitohs' way, and that's just with the back of Capewell and Payne Haas not in the sides, obviously, this weekend. They're going to be big losses. But as you say, Adam Reynolds is best they beat the Rabbitohs in round one up at Suncorp, of course, with no Reynolds. So I'm sure he'll be wanting a big game. They were good against the Sharks. The Bunnies, I thought they were very lucky. I think if Manly had played that game at 13, I think they might have been on the end of a scoreline there. So $1.22 to me. Broncos 4.40, Lions 12.5. I think the market's going to shift towards the Rabbitohs, but I think the Broncos are within a show at a big price. Obviously, we know how influential Payne Haas and Capewell are, but I don't think there's that big a gap between them. I think the market might have moved a little bit too far.
Yeah, 4.40 seems a big price. The Broncos have been playing fairly well the last couple of weeks, boys.
Yeah, I think Katoni Staggs is probably the main factor there as well. Bloody oath for those wins. Definitely pushing for a spot for that blue Guernsey too in a fair few weeks' time. I think, Tristan, I'm not sure how much inside info you get, mate, but have you heard any more of the story about the Payne Haas movement to possibly down south to a couple of Sydney clubs?
It wouldn't be the Roosters, would it?
Roosters and the Dogs is what I've heard.
Of course it would be.
Of course it is.
Yeah, there's always rumours around that. There's been a lot of talk in the media about his next contract. But, he's a big name, big for the Broncos. So, I don't know. Whoever gets him, I think, will be paying a fair whack because I think he's going to commit. Particularly if there's a few clubs chasing him, he'll be on a decent salary. So I haven't heard any of those rumours, and no, I don't get any of the inside gossip. I'm sure you guys are all over it in terms of all the articles written. But yeah, he's going to be a very, very much in demand player because it's very, very important for any side that he plays in.
Maybe Uncle Nick might have to change from paper bags to calico bags to hold the
weight,
hold the coin.
Mate, we've also got the Panthers up against the Eels. Panthers going for 9 straight. Eels coming off that loss last week to the Cowboys. Turned out to be a fairly big score in the end. Any love for the Eels on that one, mate? Jared's wanting to know here.
Yeah, Panthers, they're $1.24, Parramatta 4.15, and the Lions 12.5. I think if Parramatta can bring their A game, there's certainly a chance here. They've looked very, very good for probably every game, bar 2 or 3 throughout the course of the year. Last week was one of them. They didn't look that good. I thought Penrith were a bit off against the Titans, but I think they might have had one eye on this game as well. So they are a very, very tough team to beat at home, and 12.5 seems about right if Penrith are just so professional, but Parramatta got close to knocking them off in a big game there the back end of last year. So if they can bring their A game, we know how much they lift for this Western Derby. So 12.5, 4.15. If you think Parramatta can bring their A game, they are a little bit of value.
Yeah, we sort of seen what Parra can do against Melbourne. If they can play like that against Penrith, it's going to be a hell of a game.
Exactly, and Dylan Brown back to number 6 too, I believe.
Yeah, Brownie's back to 6. Unfortunately, young Arthur, who was on the bad end of some criticism, some social media trolls, unfortunately he goes back to Wentworthville, and Opacek comes back into the centres.
Your boy Tommy. One last one, mate, before we let you go, and that's the Roosters up against the Titans. Mr. Cherry, your Roosters. They'll be lucky to make the 8. Do you still have the market for if the Roosters are going to make the 8 or not, Tristo? I'm keen to get on that.
Yeah, we do. They're very short. They're $1.26 because I'm not overly convinced that they're going that well either. They're $3.60 a miss. So if you think there's a chance of missing, then $3.60 represents a little value, even though I know your heart lies with them. But they are very short of this game against the Titans. $1.30 the Roosters, $3.55 the Titans. The line's 9.5. So no, but I'm not convinced that. So whether the impact is that, so I thought the Titans were in that game for a long time against the Panthers as well. So if they can start well, $3.55 and plus 9.5, it might a little bit of value in the neutral ground.
Yeah, they did play well last week. I think they kept Panthers scoreless, didn't they, for the first half? 4-0 or something like that. Yeah. And then Panthers obviously came over the top. But yeah, what do you think, Ches? What do you go to you, mate?
Do you really want to know what I think? No, mate, this is going to be a hard one for the Chooks. Like I mentioned earlier, this could be 3 in a row. I definitely don't want to see that, but if it is, I might have to jump on the Redcliffe Dolphin bandwagon.
You might get a start
I don't know.
with the players there.
Man, I could.
Wayne might sign you up.
I just don't know what it is that they're not doing right. I think they might be over trying. I think that's one of the things that I can see is they're trying to do too much every time they touch the ball.
I think they've lost a lot of leadership too last year with Friend and Cordner and the Morris boys and that kind of stuff gone. So you probably can't underestimate that as a factor too. Tristan, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I think so. I think Boyd and Nathan and Friend and the Morris boys, and I think everyone thought in the off-season it was just magically going to click. But when players are out for an extended period of time, it does take time for them to come back into that side and get there. And they lost a bit of depth as well. So, yeah, I'm sure he's such a good coach, Robertson, that he's going to have them cracking once the big games around. But they want to start getting this form back on track nice and quickly, I suggest. Yeah,
well, nearly halfway through the season. Like round 9 was 25-round comp, so there's only a few rounds left and it's halfway through. So they need to kick it into gear really quickly, I reckon. So,
or they can stay there.
Yeah. Anything else before we let Tristan go, boys?
Mate, yeah, just quickly, mate, after the Dogs winning last week, they're up this week against the Raiders. Where's the money going for that game?
Yeah, that game's a really tight one. There's been a little bit of a push for the Doggies. They opened at $2. They're into $1.94. The Raiders, $1.88 in the line, a flat one. So really tight game, that one. But, it's a toss the coin job. Jared Croker back into that team. Josh Jackson back in for the Bulldogs. So, if the Raiders lose that game, I think Mr. Stewart might be under a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pick the Dogs this week.
Same. You got the Papa Lee haircut too.
Yes, thank goodness.
The back.
Thanks again for joining us, TopSport CEO Tristan Merlehan. Get on over to topsport.com.au, create yourself an account, use the code SGM Podcast when you do sign up. As always, thanks for joining us, Tristan. We'll chat again next week.
Speak next week. Have a good weekend, guys.
You too, mate. Thank you.
Fantastic, boys. Always good to get a bit of insight from Tristan, the man in the know up there at the Gold Coast.
Yeah, it's good. Good little touch on that Doggies question there. The Raiders seem to be struggling at the moment, and at the moment the Bulldogs bouncing off I wouldn't say a convincing win last week against obviously the Roosters, who were a little bit out of touch going off their previous form and etc. But the Doggies might have a little momentum behind them. They got the win behind them, but I tell you what, it's about time the Raiders need to stand up and get on the right foot, so to speak, because if they don't do it now, then they're slowly running out of time, sort of thing. So, but they'll be at home, and the Raiders are always good at home.
Just before we do move on to the send-off, boys, just a shout-out to the set. Poster behind me you'll be able to see there. For those of you that are listening, head on over to our YouTube channel and check it out. The great team at I Am Cartoonified have done that up for us. You'll see a graphic a bit later on. I'll put over the top. Some great detail, some awesome work. We're so thankful and so happy with it. And they've got a little... They come aboard to sponsor your segment, mate. That's how good it's going.
How good's that, mate? The people, the fans, mate. I'm getting swamped in the streets, mate. People are chasing me, mate. Now we're getting these awesome, mate. That's a really good picture up close.
It's really good. It's
mate, it
solid.
Is very realistic.
Yeah.
Guns too. They're popping out there.
No.
It is good, and it's really good quality too.
Yeah, high quality stuff.
Really good quality.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We've got a bit of a read there as well to do. Boys, the send-off.
You are off.
I'll go first because I briefly mentioned it before. Now, with that Carl Lawton tackle, my send-off is Gus Gould. Now, being very biased, I'm leaving Fred Fittler out. He did mention the same thing, but I can't send off Freddie. Going to send off Gould. Blown up about that. That's what I was saying. It got blown up. It got blown up.
Yeah.
Yes, there was a lot of momentum there. If you lift a bloke and someone Carl Lawton's size, I know you got to hit Cam Murray hard. He's a big man. But someone like Carl Lawton, if you pick someone up, they've got to come down.
100%. That's how gravity works, yeah.
Yes, it was a bad tackle. What did he get, 4 weeks, 6 weeks?
4
For 4 weeks.
4 weeks, yeah.
Warranted. Can't see the problem there. Gus Gould, shut your lips. Definitely.
Yeah.
The refs got it right. Don't go looking at the bunkers and referees and trying to throw blames around. Touch football. Blah blah blah.
Because he was saying, there's nothing in it. It was all momentum.
Yeah.
There's nothing in it. Get up and play on, mate. Ask Alex McKinnon if it's play on.
Yeah, I think the other thing he had, his other issue, which I half agree with, is that after 5 minutes of the game or 7 minutes of the game, it was down to 12 and 13. So you knew the result. there and then, essentially. I know Manly fought back, but you kind of knew that by the 60th, 70th minute,
The script was
they were going to roll over. I agree with that. I reckon it should be he's sent, he can't come back. After 10 minutes, they can replace him. So your bench is down to 16, or your team's down to 16, effectively. He can't come back on, so you stuff your rotations, but at least you've got a 13-on-13 contest.
So,
So
what,
I'm 50-50 with that. I agree with that, that it does ruin it. At the same time, that comment is mostly made about money. The NRL making money, those guys making money, not the actual health and safety of the actual players. And that should be first priority. But 50-50 with what you said, Clint, with that.
So I like the way you say that, but what happens if, say, Murray busts his shoulder, he's out for 8 weeks? Does he not come back on the field? Does that mean that Manly still get to replace that man on the field? Or
Well, that's when South could use their 18th man. They can use their 18th man if foul play.
But is your 18th man Cameron Murray?
Yeah.
No, true. I understand what you're saying as well.
You can't use that into context, but I do know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's a tricky because I can see what Gus was saying. After 9 minutes, they played, 71 minutes with 12 men. You just knew. If it was, say, Panthers up against the Tigers and it was the Panthers that got sent off, it's probably a different story. Panthers are probably... But two teams that were fairly close, you kind of knew what it was going to do. And it ended up exactly scripted like that. They rolled out over the top of them. But, yeah, I agree with everything. It is tricky, and that's why we're not on the commission, boys.
Yet.
Exactly right.
Yet.
Exactly
Yeah.
right. My send-off is it's pretty obvious, and it's Matt Lodge. And people will sit there and they'll poke the finger and pull the piss out of soccer or round ball, the world game, whatever you want to call it, for all this milking. Now, I'm not exactly having a direct crack at Matt Lodge, but I'm also having a crack at the rules, because the way the rules are being written, it's allowing for this to happen. And the problem is, what he did to win him the game, you got to do what you got to do to get 2 points at the end of the day. So, but at the same time, A, it's not within the sportsmanship of the game, but B, it's well within the rights to win the game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tricky one too.
So I'm going to have a crack at both Lodge, and I'm going to have a crack at the rules.
Yep.
I haven't said that. It's all good and well. I can sit here and I can pull the piss out of the rules and poke the finger here and there. And, it's one of those sort of things. Don't come up with a problem, come up with a solution. But realistically, where is the solution?
Yeah, and I agree with that too, the line down. In saying that, Canberra should have never let it get to that stage,
yeah,
you know
absolutely.
what I mean? So they've got more than that to blame for that loss as well. Boys, for me, I'm going to go the 7-tackle set. And now, stay with me here. The reason they brought the 7-tackle set in is, if you remember, it was Billy Slater. What the teams used to do was just kick it dead. So they could get their defensive line set. He couldn't attack them, all that kind of stuff. And that's why they brought it in. I'm not liking what teams are doing now. What they're doing on a 5th tackle set, they just run into a corner and getting tackled 10 metres out. It's boring football because they're too scared to put up a kick in case it goes dead, and then they give away a 7-tackle set. So what I think they should do is, if you kick from inside the 30 and it goes dead, 6-tackle set. If you kick from outside your 30 and it goes dead, that's when you get your 7-tackle set. Now, I know that's another rule you got to keep an eye on and police whether the foot was over the line, all that kind of crap, but I'd rather see an attacking kick with a contest, and for it to, rather than people just run into a corner and handing the ball over 10 metres out, because that's boring, to be honest.
And again, too, when you say that, someone's got to be there to police it. Bring back 2 referees. Your lead referee worries about the ruck and the line. The other referee, he focuses on the 40, the 20, whether he's inside the 10, the tackle sets, etc.
Well, that's it. Well, you got the 2 touches. You also got the bunker that I'm sure they got instant replays.
I reckon
628 cameras on there as well.
I reckon if you had a second referee, it'll take all the rubbish out of the ruck.
Yeah.
Because there's that extra set of eyes watching live.
It'll be interesting to see how much money they've saved by only having 1 referee. If you think about it, that's a lot of money.
But I'm pretty sure the amount, the overall number of referees hasn't dropped. So you still employ a full squad of, say, 20 referees.
Yeah, okay.
Because you watch some, some games you'll see, say, Grant Atkin, you'll see him running a line
Sideline,
on the Sunday if he doesn't get a centre.
Yeah. Anything else, boys? We'll wrap this segment up.
No, it could go all night.
All good? Yeah, good rave.
All right, stick around. We'll come back with some more stuff.
Having a bet on sport this week? Top this.
Whether you're into cricket and curling or golf and greyhounds, TopSport will let you on for plenty. And with literally hundreds of markets from your own backyard to the international stage, TopSport has you well covered. So if you want to get the top odds every time, bet with TopSport.
Top that. Download the app today. TopSport. feel the excitement.
Don't let the game play you. Stay in control. Gamble responsibly.
All right, we're back. Thanks for sticking around. Now we're going to jump into Birdo's segment here, the player performance rating, I believe. But
Yeah.
as I mentioned, boys, off the top, we've got a new sponsor for this segment. The great team at I Am Cartoonified have come on board and have produced some high-quality pictures for us behind me. You can see it there. Also on the screen now, you'll see it there as well. Great quality. These pictures were off our website ones, and if you go to our website and compare it, it is spot on. Ches is going to do a bit of a live read, and we'll get into it.
Yeah, make a little spiel here for I Am Cartoonified. Now, at I Am Cartoonified, we aim to bring joy into everyone's homes through various forms of personalised art. To get cartoonified, it is simple. Upload your photos, choose your theme, and we will make the magic happen. Love the NRL? No matter who you support, we can put your family and friends on print wearing your supported team jersey in front of your preferred stadium. That's what we have up there. Very, very good. Want to add your favourite players to the artwork? No problem. We can customise any print to fit your desired space and needs. From small table pieces to large wall-hung prints, printed and shipped from Australia. Head to the website iamcartoonified.com and use the code SGM15, SGM15. That's for 15% off store-wide for the month of May. So everyone jump on board. Then you're saying they do stuff like Simpsons.
They do Simpsons, they do Harry Potter, they do princess stuff. So if you've got a daughter and you want to get something for a room, they do some amazing quality stuff. Not only NRL, they do pets as well. And as Ches said, they can do any NRL jersey. I haven't cleared this with them, but I dare say there's probably a discount on West Tigers just because they're struggling to sell.
They might be Tigers fans.
But yeah, I hope they're not. But head on over to the website, as Ches mentioned. Sandra and the crew there are fantastic people to deal with, and high quality stuff, boys. I'm loving this.
I'm going to jump on and have a look at the Ninja Turtle stuff from back in the day.
Yeah, I'm sure they can customise stuff.
Yeah.
It's really
How
good.
cool will that be?
Michelangelo.
Yeah, we should
Chezzy Angelo. There you go.
use the code SGM15 at checkout. Right at checkout, there's a promo code you can put in there. Get in contact with them if there's anything that you want. You'll work with them. They're fantastic people and great sponsors of the show. And they've come on board for your segment, mate.
Come on board for the segment. As I said, mate, there's people are queuing up, asking when I'm going to bring out a biography, etc. Mate,
It's starting to sound like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
no, mate, just give me some time. And,
Young Birdo.
These things will happen. But no, shout out. Actually, there are plenty of people coming up to me. Dick Heaney, I was doing some work with him the other day. A bloke I play cricket with in town, mate. He loves it. Stevie Tanner, I was down playing 2-up too. Rotten. Anyway, and he came up and I was drinking responsibly, obviously. And he came up and was saying, mate, I'm loving it. The whole show in general. So how's this? This is no word of a lie. Just come from the races over, local races. And I had the day book in the back pocket. And I said, "You want me to sign something for you, mate?" just having a lend. Anyway, we're full of sauce. Anyway, on the loudmouth soup. And he goes, yeah, bloody hell. So I just quick bang, just flicked because I had me form, had me pen in my top pocket, and I actually, on no word of a lie, I signed it. I'll see if he can send us one in. I signed it. It was probably the worst signature you've ever seen, but I tell you what, and I turned around and said, mate, that might be worth some money shortly. So, but no, it's good. It's good. This week it's the player performance rating, but this week I'm going to slip a coach in there. We spoke about this last week. I'm going to slip a coach in there just to mix it up a little bit, it's a little bit hard because the coach I've chosen, it's hard. I've gone with him because their squad realistically hasn't changed, so you can't really say the inclusion of, say, Dale Finucane and Nico Hines, for example. So this coach, it's not Fitzy, by the way, either. But we'll kick it off. Joshy Curran I'm going to start with. Warriors. Now, last year I thought he was playing some relatively good football, but I tell you what, it's nowhere near as what he was this year. Last year, I'm going to give him a 4.5. This year, I'm going to give him a 7. I think, unfortunately, he's out.
That knee injury.
The knee injury, but I tell you what, that bloke is playing some real good football. And I think, it's put a little bit of fire in the belly, is that the All-Stars game at the start of the season, that's where I first sort of, he's having a red-hot crack, and I tell you what, he's taken out the clubland, which is good to see. So, Joshy Curran last year, 4.5. This year, I'm going to give him a 7.
Yeah, he's one of those players, obviously he's injured at the moment, but he's one of those players where if he was at a different club other than the Warriors and like a top 5-6 team, you'd probably hear a lot more about him as well.
Absolutely.
All effort. Never gives up on a play, always the last one chasing the break down the sideline, whatever it might be. And then, All-Stars game you mentioned as well. He's a New South Welshman? I think he might be New South Welshman. It's just unfortunate how many back rowers we've got at the moment. He probably will never get a start in the Origin arena, but not that he wouldn't be, not that he couldn't handle it. I don't think he's a great player. I think you're a bit lowballing him last year. I think he's about a 5.5, 6 last year. I'm going to go 7.5 this year.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Mate, very, very similar to you. I think it would have been about probably, say 5.5. This year definitely put the pedal down a little bit, boost him up. I'm going to be very generous and say 7.5.
7.5
this year. Yeah, don't want a bit of current there. I try to include him in the try scorers every now and again too. He's always sitting around a fairly decent price. One of them guys too, you can sort of steamroll
from close range.
Yeah, get over that line. You know, they go to dummy for those cutout balls, and he just sort of shoots back in.
Yep.
Real close. Yeah.
I think the Warriors are really going to miss him the 4 or 5 weeks he's going to be out.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think it'll be noticeable.
Makes a massive impact. There's something about back rowers or front rowers that wear headgear that just stands out to me. When a front rower was wearing headgear, they mean business. So.
Don't mess with him,
boys. Whilst we're on the Warriors, this is the coach, Nathan Brown. Now, apart from slapping people, which is probably, I'm going to tell you now, that bloke probably regrets it. We might have to get him on the show and ask him what his thoughts are. Boys, I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10 for the slap.
That was a long time ago.
That was very long.
Trent Barrett.
Trent Barrett was playing. Was it Lance Thompson?
Yeah.
It was Lance Thompson, Trent Barrett, and somebody else, I think, off the top of my head. But, unfortunately, squad-wise, it's not exactly the best squad in the world. But I tell you what, there are some players there that can perform, but they're just not quite performing. And I've gone with Nathan Brown because his side has been very similar squad-wise over the last couple of years. Now, unfortunately, for some reason, they won't go back to New Zealand. The A-League and everything else are going to New Zealand. They're playing games over there, but for some reason, the NRL. Anyway, that's not here nor there.
Middle of June, I think they're heading back.
Middle of June, good.
Maybe July, but yeah.
Bring it forward, I say, Mr. Villandis. I'll give you a call tomorrow, actually. Nathan Brown, last year's a 4. This year, I'm going to have to give him a 4 as well. As I said, his squad hasn't really changed, but their performance hasn't really changed either.
You really asked the wrong person about this. I'm going to give him 1s all around. Cannot stand the man.
Can't you?
Oh, despise him, mate.
Put your ego aside, mate.
I will. Only because we're on the show.
1.5.
I reckon I'm going to be very, 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 very generous. 4 from last year, 3.5 this year.
Yeah, I don't think I could go much higher than last year. This year's score, to be honest. 4 is probably about where he's sitting. Like I said, the squad isn't great. He doesn't have the best squad. He did get Sean Johnson this year. I know, obviously, back end. He was out for a few weeks at the start. He's got great fullback with lots of potential. Still very young. I don't know, because he's had to start a few other clubs and he hasn't really done well. Newcastle, He drove them into the ground. Where was he else before that? St. George. And now here at the Warriors, I think this is probably his last chance. I'm not sure what his contract is, probably next year. If the Warriors aren't close to the top 8 this year and next year, I don't think we'll see Nathan Brown in the NRL for quite a while.
He might end up France or
yeah, well, he has spent some time over there years ago, and he was good over there.
Success
they
too.
Him back.
Yeah.
But you see, Justin Holbrook was the same. He had success over there.
Yeah, it's a different game.
Back.
Yeah.
So
the old 1 metre in-goal area.
Yeah,
different
exactly.
watching,
I'm going 4s.
4s.
Same as you, mate. No higher.
Unfortunately, the massive loss for him was Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, who was an absolute beast. Boys, now, this bloke I cannot disagree with, and I'm loving him at the moment because I tell you what, he gets over the line almost every start. And if you got a phone call from this same bloke, I'd be saying yes, regardless of where I'm playing. Xavier Coates. Last year at Brisbane, I'm going to give him a 6. This year at Melbourne, I'm not fucking around. I'm giving him an 8 straight up. He is playing some fabulous football. Having said that, he is on the receiving end of some big heavy workers, Justice Olam, etc. But yeah, I'm going to 6 last year at Brizzy. Not a lot happening there. Squad wise helps, but definitely an 8 this year. That the bloke goes good.
I think Ziga last 2 weeks back-to-back hat-tricks?
No, he's got
Or is it 2 and 3?
He got 4 and 3.
4 and 3.
Yeah, he got 4 tries against Warriors and 3 tries last week against
72 weeks, baby. That's not bad.
pretty good. And before that, he didn't have any, I think, or maybe 1 or 2. So he scored majority of his tries last 2 weeks.
He was doing a bit of a fox.
He was,
wasn't he?
yeah. As soon as he signed with Melbourne, you just knew that he was going to go to the next level.
Especially where you knew he
had
was
all that
going. He was
potential.
going to that left edge where Olam was.
Yeah, no, he plays outside Remus Smith, doesn't he? Olam's on the left edge. Isn't Nick Meaney on the left edge with Olam?
I thought he played there the other week.
No, they might have
Just
been
on
swapping
the
around.
left.
Justice
That
is the
could-
left, and I think
yeah.
Nick Meaney's been playing out him. I think Remus and Coates is on the right. Could be wrong. Not very often. But you just knew. You just knew when he went there he's going to go to the next level. Craig Bellamy playing outside that great spine that they have. What did you have him at? An 8 this year?
Played him 6 last year, 8 this year.
I think he's going to be an 8 now. But if you ask us in 8 weeks' time, he's going to play Origin as well. 10 weeks' time, he might be up there around a 9, mate.
100%, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we actually mentioned that last year when we heard about that, heard about the movement of him. And I think we said something like, it's going to be good for Melbourne, but even better
For him.
for himself personally. Last year at the Bronx, I thought he was okay for what they had and what they were doing. He fell, I think, about a 6.5. This year, mate, outstanding. He's really, really starting to shine. I'm definitely an 8, probably nearly an 8.5.
Yep.
But like what Clint said, I reckon towards the end of the year, he's going to be up there. He's going to be 9.5. I reckon.
Absolutely. You get a little bit more running in the legs too, sort of thing. And he'll form more chemistry with the boys down there than what he has in, 12 weeks or thereabouts. So by the time pre-season, maybe 14, 15 weeks.
Boys, I got a little sneaky side bet on a little multi on my personal TopSport account, and it's Newcastle Knights least amount of wins. They're bottom of the table at the moment. Xavier Coates, highest try scorer.
Yep.
And Ruben Garrick, highest point scorer. Pappenhausen's got both those tied up at the moment. Hopefully he plays Origin and takes him out. And hopefully he might get injured for 6 weeks like he did in Magic and take him out. And I tell you, it's good coin. So it'll be a weekend away, my shout, if it comes off, let me tell you.
GC. It's I tell you what, Paps is playing some incredible football at the moment.
Isn't he what?
He's going to take a lot of catching. But, Xavier Coates, I think he'll only get better. He'll be like a fine wine. I tell you what, good to imagine what he'd be like in 2 or 3 years when he's been in that system.
Yeah.
He's been there for 8 rounds, 9 rounds,
Pre-season.
probably 15 weeks all up. So, mate, it'll be like a well-aged Parmesan cheese.
Any more, mate?
No, that's it. We'll just do the 3.
Fantastic. Thanks again to I Am Cartoonified. Head on over to the website. It's on the screen. 15% off store-wide. Use the code SGM15 at checkout right at the end. If you're worried you can't put it in, it's right at the end. Get yourself a print. You can put your dogs, you can put your favourite players in. So if you've got no friends, you can actually sub in a couple of players, make it look like you've got a few friends.
Put us in.
Put us in, exactly right. We're more than happy to send you a photo.
Mate, you can put me in. Everyone. Do you reckon they'd be able to, speaking about stadium, do you reckon if I sent them a photo of Rugby League Park, you reckon they'd be able to put me up?
I reckon they could.
The Rams, definitely. Fantastic, boys. We want to do beer of the week. Thanks to the Whitebull Hotel. I can see an oldie but a goldie there.
Kicking off early, yeah.
Oh, sorry, an oldie but a bluey.
Yeah, the old bluey.
Yeah.
It's 2 is new for those who can see at the front. Chaz, I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but I tell you what, there's 2 types of hangovers in the world. There's a hangover and there's a 2 is new hangover. Now, this is like
Quality.
Yeah, you've got someone with a kick drum next to your bed, bang, bang, bang of the morning. But I tell you what, that don't stop your boy from drinking it. It is delicious. It's a twist top, so there's half a point. And it's magically delicious. That's going to get a 4.5, that bad boy.
Nice score.
Yeah, definitely one of the originals. I actually handpicked this one. One of our old workmates passed away on the weekend, old Chappie Farrell. Massive Parramatta supporter. And I tell you what, there's only one thing he liked more than Parramatta, and that was a 2 is new.
Yeah, nice.
These things are classic. That did change them a few years ago. Mucked around the recipe, and they got it back to where it is now. I actually had a gallon of these last night after work. Having a beer with Darcy, one of the other boys at work. He's one of our regular listeners. He's moving to Newcastle tomorrow. I was on pints of Tui's New last night. Woke up this morning. I think there was 2 bass drums going. The old double kicker.
Boom.
But absolutely delicious, mate. I drink these all the time, but I like having a mid just so you can last the whole day. Otherwise, I get on these things. But 4.5, easy. Yeah, definitely a 4.5. These are the sort of beers that you take away fishing when there's no one around. You can get absolutely loose.
I don't know about that. Your boy won't be having much water.
Fall in the water and fucking
Yeah, I tell you. But I was just looking here, boys. This would be almost one of Australia's oldest breweries. This has got established in 1869. Good year, 69.
Oh, tough.
But that's a fair while of brewing. I don't know.
You think they get it right by now, wouldn't you?
I tell you what, stick with it.
I think I managed to enjoy new too, didn't
It's
he?
his beer of choice. The old
New.
Tui's New,
Yeah,
definitely.
But if he's anything like me, if you have 2 or 3 too many, you can barely walk. So
He only has to have 2 or 3 and he can't walk.
exactly, an old pensioner.
Fantastic. Thanks again to the Whitebull Hotel. Great sponsors of the show. Get on down there, get yourself a 6-pack, a carton, 3 cartons, and enjoy them responsibly, of course, as always.
Yeah, head down and see Hawkeye. Thanks again, Hawk, for your sponsorship. Actually, bumped into Hawkeye on Monday in Hawkeye's office.
Were you walking?
And he said, do you want to talk about the Roosters? And I said, mate, do you want to talk about Canberra? And we both politely agreed, no.
Just went your separate ways. I like it. Yeah, they're both not playing very well at the moment. So we might take another quick little break and then we'll hop into all the games too, boys. What do you reckon?
Before that,
Yeah,
I'm just
hit me.
reading here that it is second to what it is, Cascade Brewing.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
which
right,
is
down Tasmania.
1824. So I'll tell you what, that's the second oldest beer,
There you go.
according to Google.
Fantastic.
Google never lies.
You come here for the knowledge, I tell you.
Fact.
Stay for the looks. Stick around. We'll be back straight after this.
Another half win. From punters jumping in early or waiting too late. You get a good price on one leg, but the others have shortened dramatically. You still win, but it feels like you half win. Introducing TopSport's best of the best multi. Get top odds on every leg, every time. Don't be one of these. Just bet and forget Bob Multi. TopSport. Feel the excitement.
Don't let the game play you. Stay in control. Gamble responsibly.
Thanks for sticking around. We're back now, boys. We've been a bit slack in this department. Our footy tipping comp, for those that have had registered, would have known at the start, monthly giveaways. We have been slack and just forgotten. It's not that we just tease you with that to get you in. We actually are giving monthly giveaways. So what we're going to do, boys, we're going to kick off the March winner and also the April winner, now that we're into May. So at the end of this month, we'll have another winner. I think there's however many are in the comp. Randomly, we'll pick a winner and we'll give you a prize. We'll send it out and keep you nice and happy, boys. So what we've done, we've listed all the people in our footy tipping comp, how they entered the competition, what position. Got them all written down here. Chez has got a random generator on his phone. He's going to pick it. He's going to hit it, and whatever number comes out, we're going to send the prize to that. We'll do March first, boys, and for the March prize, it's going to be a hat, a stubby cooler, and this old school Illawarra Steelers BHP steel shirt. Look at that. How good's
good.
that? Bit
Bring
old
it
school.
back.
Bit like the North one up behind me, boys. So that's
Bring
going to
that
be
back.
the prize
And
for
bring the biff
March. Hit it, mate.
Now-
What do you got?
If I win one of these, I'll just hit the button again.
Okay.
Because I've already got the names.
That's fine. Yeah.
Rightio.
Gosh,
Number 26.
26.
Sean
26.
Lyle.
Sean
Lyle.
26 is Sean Lyle. So Shawnee, great bloke actually. So he'll be getting the hat, the stubby cooler, and the BHP steel shirt. So Sean, mate, if you're listening, watching, send us an email, get in contact with us, and we'll grab your address. We'll send that out in the post ASAP. All right, now for the month of April, boys, hang on. We're giving away a Manscaped pack. So this is the razor, the trimmer, the bag, the ball deodorant, all that kind of stuff. So our great friends at Manscaped will be giving away one of these pack, boys. And I don't know about you, mine's got a fair bit of use. So
it's damn good. What the razor or what?
hopefully this one as well.
You use it on your face as
hit
well?
it, bud. Let's go. What number?
Number 41.
41 is Heath Milne.
Easy.
Heathy boys. So hopefully he'll enjoy that. I'm sure. Is he married? Anyone know him?
I don't think he's married.
Oh, his girlfriend will be happy. I can guarantee you that. So, Heath, again, if you're listening, watching, get in contact with us, mate. We'll get your address. If you're local in town, we can drop it off, whatever it might be. But your balls will thank you, and so will the missus. Trust me.
And you'll thank us.
Yeah, so when you're watching the show and not forgetting to put your tips on, make sure you send your info through.
Have you been forgetting it all? Has anyone been forgetting?
I've only forgotten that 1 week, and I'll tell you what.
Lesson learned.
Hasn't fucking hurt me that much because for the last couple of weeks I have put them on. They've been rubbish.
I think you're winning, though, out of us.
I was actually looking. This is one Tony T, who is only just off the pace, but he's still got his joker to use. So that's one I was talking to a couple of blokes about that are in our tipping that I run into downtown, of course, and other people chasing signatures and biographies, etc.
TT, great bloke. He used to be your boss.
Did he really?
Great man. Yeah.
Well, there you go. So he's within reach of the top. But shout out to Brett 0009. I'm not sure who that is, but I tell you what, that bloke is sailing away
ahead, isn't he?
He's sailing away into the sunset. But it's only early days.
How's the number one host going there?
Number one host. Where is the
keep
number one host?
scrolling. Keep scrolling.
Serious?
Keep scrolling.
Oh wow.
About 37th, I think.
36th.
Yeah, going well.
36th. Myself is 17th. And Ches 180, 14th.
Fantastic.
Don't know how.
Like I said to someone the other day, you know, I'm a man of the people. I've got to let my viewers and listeners have a chance.
You wouldn't be saying that if you were third.
No, exactly right. Fuck yes. All right, boys, let's jump into the games. Otherwise, we'll run out of time. We're going to hit a few games in depth and we'll just touch on a few others. But first up, in depth, South versus Broncos, Thursday, 7:50 at Accor Stadium. Replay of the round one clash. Souths are the favourites, as we mentioned before, $1.22. Broncos, $4.40. The line is set at 12.5. $1.90 each way. You get the Souths at the minus or Broncos at the plus. Adam Reynolds come up against his club for the first time, boys. Didn't get to play in round one. As Tristo mentioned, though, Payne Haas and Kurt Capewell out. How do you see it playing out, boys?
I think it's a shame that they're not full strength, to be honest. Just for the sake that Reynolds may have a chance of a little, what would you just call it, a little redemption, little rub the nose in for you know.
Getting rid of him.
Yeah, exactly right. Telling him to move on. But in my eyes, definitely without Payne Haas, the big meter eater, I think this is only going one way, and I think it's going to go to South.
Yeah, okay.
Particularly South's been at home.
Yep.
I think if I'll just quickly go through this, if we compare the two games, so from round one to this week's game, so the first week, obviously, Brisbane missing Reynolds, missed their structure, missed the creativity, the leadership and everything. This game is back. Now they're missing the big men. They're missing those, those big guys up the forward, the big workers, the ball carriers. So they've sort of seesawed. So 1 week they're like this, and they've got him back, but now they're missing this. I'm the same as you. South's going to hurt them straight up the guts. I think they're going to win fairly convincingly.
Yeah, if you watch that first game too, that's where they won it too, was up the guts with those big men because Reynolds wasn't in. So, yeah, I'm probably leaning the same way, boys. Just looking at the teams there, not a lot of changes other than the ones we mentioned. Carrigan comes in, start at prop for Huss, and Jake Turpin's been named in the reserves coming off that injury as well.
I'm enjoying Blake Tough as well.
You know who I am enjoying, speaking of that, is some Tom Flegler. That bloke goes very hard. Mm-hmm. Jeez, he's good.
Hasn't had any reports since that time. He got put on a report 4 times in the one game.
lesson learned. But jeez, he goes hard. He's a massive player for the Broncos.
Boys, this is my multi kicking us off for the week. And I'm going to go South head-to-head. I think they will get the victory. I couldn't pick a margin there. Joshy Mansour to get across, and also Katoni Staggs. Now, I usually put AJ in, but AJ plays on the left, and that's the side that Staggs and Cobbo defend on. They've been defending really well together the last couple of weeks. So I've gone the other side, which is Corey Oates and Herbie Farnworth. So, and being outside Campbell Gray in there, I can maybe see Mansour getting across for a try. So just the 3 legs, South head-to-head, Josh Mansour, Katoni Staggs, $7.48, thanks to TopSport.
Yeah, nice. It's probably one of Mansour's last weeks too. Got a feeling when we get Mitchell and everything back, I think he might get the old boot.
Thanks for coming. Did you see Corey Oates break the line last week?
Yeah.
And was running in sand.
Quicksand.
Jeez, he was going nowhere.
I was just waiting for him to wheel the treadmill back out. All right, that's that game covered off, boys. The Raiders versus the Dogs, Friday, 6 p.m, GIO Stadium down there in the blistering cold of Canberra. Raiders are the favourite, $1.88, which I'm a bit I suppose with the way the Dogs have been going, they're the outsiders at $1.94. As Tristan said before, the line is set at 1 flat. $1.90 each. You can get the Raiders at the minus or the Doggies at the plus. Two teams that are, towards the bottom of the ladder. Let's not sugarcoat it. Dogs coming off that great win last week. I don't know if you call it great, but it was a win. Raiders, though, boys, they're turning back into the faders, to be honest. That was very disappointing what they did against the Titans there a few weeks ago as well. They're just, I don't know what's going on. And the one thing that positive that they do have is Jason Croker comes back in, but they've lost Jack Bird, who's been their best player all year. So what do you think?
Jason Croker or Jared Crocker?
Jared Crocker, that's who I said.
There you go. Croker, sorry.
Yeah, that's what I said.
No, you said Jason, you peanut. Different.
Watch the replay.
Watch the replay. If it is there, you won't get any credit.
So Chance goes back to 1 and Rapana goes back to the wing. What are your thoughts there?
Well, Chance has had about 6 minutes game time in the last 2 weeks. So I don't know. He's on the bench. They're not using him. So if they want him in the team, they've got to have him on the field. He's not a bench player, I don't think, because he doesn't come in as that roving forward. I don't even know where he's been playing when he has come in last week, and they've done it again this week, but they're going to start with Adam Elliott at number 9 and then bring on Tommy Starling. I mentioned a few weeks ago that they need to do that. Tom Starling is that impact player. I wasn't sure who they were going to put there, but it worked fairly well last week with Adam Elliott. I know you don't like, not that you don't like, but I know you like Rapana at fullback.
Yeah.
More so than Chance. And looking at that, I think Savage has been dropped too. Yeah, he's number 20 there, so he's gone back to reserve. So, yeah, I don't know. They've
got to give those young kids a run. They can't just keep dropping them. Anyway, I could rant. Mate, Semi Valamine's out as well. That's going to hurt him. Now, just going off form, I'm leaning towards the Dogs here, like we said before. I've got a feeling the way the Raiders are at the moment, they're struggling. Obviously, the Dogs aren't in the best position table-wise, but after that win last week, they're going to be bouncing off the walls still.
100%.
They're going to come running hot, mate. Brenton Aiden's back. He's going to play on the wing. Big Joshy Jackson there back at lock too. Yep. The old sergeant, the old man with all the experience. Jaden Ockenbaugh, that puts him out of the 17. But
I was just going to say, a lot of Doggy supporters I know, and a lot of them are saying Ockenbaugh has to go. So I reckon there'll be a lot of them cheering this week, even if they don't win. Just the fact that he's not playing.
I wonder when was the last time he washed his hair.
Oh,
it is rank.
You imagine the smell of it.
I was going to say,
the thing is,
redbacks growing.
the thing is, the Doggies. We touch on it nearly every week. They got rid of the wrong player. Harawira goes to the Raiders, starts playing some not great footy. No,
he's been playing pretty well.
Proper, right. Like he's been playing really well, but and they've kept Ockenbaugh. So well done, Bulldogs management.
My Māori again, boys, just a little 3-legger here. Over 38.5 total match points. I think there'll be a few tries leaked here. Rapana to get one of those, and also the Fox Addo Carr. Just got him down for 1, but he'd probably get 2, I reckon. That's $5.95 for that one.
I'm going to ask Tristan if he can start a market for Matt Burton's Bombs, a margin of how many metres they're going to swing.
Oh, mate. Glenn McGrath.
I reckon you put it out to about 15 metres, some of them.
That'll be
huge.
I was watching the Tigers game on the weekend, which I thought was one of the best games of the round, actually, the Tigers St George. And that fucking silly commentators are just going on, if you let that ball bounce, you invite, what is it?
Disappointment
in your life. Wake up yourself, mate. But some of them, it's better to let them bounce and just see which way they go.
All right, let's touch on this one a bit in depth, boys. Panthers versus Eels also on Friday night, 7:55 out there at Penrith Park. Panthers are the favourite, $1.24. You got Eels at $4.15. The line set at 12.5, as Tristan mentioned. Both at $1.90 here as well. The Panthers at the minus, the Eels at the plus. Panthers going for 9 in a row. Parra coming off that pretty big defeat last week to the Cowboys. They got out-muscled, outplayed, and kind of embarrassed, to be honest, towards the end. Opacek does come back in, as we mentioned, which then pushes Brown back to number 6 where he needs to be. Unchanged if you look at the Panthers, but there's talk about Toto coming back in, and also Moses Leota. So it'll be interesting to see if they're included, and if they are, whether that pushes that line out a little bit more as well.
What did I say last week about that weather up there affecting the game?
100%.
Fucking, it just kills them, doesn't it?
Especially
you see
it's
their legs and their arms and
mate,
just sweat.
Particularly when you got players like some big boys, Nathan Brown, Papali'i, Junior Paulo, those sort of boys, they're always going to break down in those conditions where you got players like Taumalolo. He's used to playing in those sort of positions. So conditions rather than positions. But just muscled Parramatta, bashed them through the middle of the field, just wore us down and chipped away. It was from a Cowboys point of view, that was a magical win. From a Parramatta point of view, I think it's time to hit the reset button. What BA's tried, I'll take my hat off. And a lot of people have given Jake a lot of stick because it's his son, but I don't think realistically, injuries aside, because that's not an excuse. You're a professional club. You've got to roll the dice, and you know it didn't work. So back to basics.
It's a hard one to pick here because what I said before about how Parramatta can play, like when they're out Melbourne and everything. Be nice to know what sort of mood they're in before I can put my bet on.
They seem to get up for a big game.
Yeah, they do. You know, if you know they're going to be charging in, I'd be taking one of these line bets.
Yeah, they can
favouring Para.
They can beat Penrith, they can beat Melbourne, and they can beat the Chooks. They can beat all the big sides, but they'll lose to the Bulldogs, they'll lose to the Tigers, and they'll lose to the Cowboys.
And that's a mental thing, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They must go into the game thinking they got it wrapped up before it
But then
actually
again,
starts.
too,
But Cowboys are playing really good this year too.
You're playing at a professional grade. I spoke about it last week. These sort of clubs, when they say, "Oh, we're going through a rebuilding phase," mate, you shouldn't be because you're in a professional position where that shouldn't happen. Then too, again, you shouldn't say, "Oh, we played at their level," because that's not an excuse. You're a professional club.
Or we got ambushed, or
got ambushed.
You knew you were going to the game.
Yeah, right.
Oh, he didn't show up. Well, you're there.
Oh, fuck, mate.
16 weeks notice, you know you're going to play him.
Yeah,
Mate, just a quick question.
Yep.
Do you think Luai needs to do a little bit more to earn his Blues jumper from how he's played this year?
Oh, bro.
Do you think it's just been the Nathan Cleary show?
They'll stick with Luai unless he's injured.
They will because of that combo.
Yeah,
but just personally, do you think he's done enough just to be automatically slotted in there because he plays next to Cleary?
Who have you got in mind?
Well, that's the thing.
See, I think the reason why he originally got the start was because they wanted to get that formation where they get the two of them together. That way they play. Remember, I think they had the doggies at the time when LD Laurie Daly won the Origin, broke the drought. And it was Hodkinson, and so he was the walk-in, but they picked was it young Reynolds? What was his name? Josh Reynolds. They picked young Josh Reynolds in there for the simple mere fact that they were combinational wise and they were partners. I think that's a massive contributing factor.
Yeah.
But then again, too, at the same time, my question is, Ches, I understand 100% where you're coming from. Jerome Luai, what's he done to lose his spot? And realistically, who else is there? I'd just...
Yeah, he'll play, but his form hasn't been as good. So I agree with you there. I think that's
just
what the point you're trying to make is his form hasn't been as good.
If there was another gun 6
Pushing
out there,
for it, possibly.
100%.
he'd be sweating, I reckon.
Yeah.
Who's
The other
Dylan
sixes
Brown?
are...
Is he New South?
I believe so. Yeah, I was going to say Dylan Brown. You've got Luke Keary, who's not in great form, who pushed to 7. Jack White, who has been playing okay but not great.
You can't put the chooks in there not playing.
You know what I mean? I don't know. So
Oh,
he'll definitely
faith, brother.
he'll definitely keep because not Ricky, Brad will stick. But anyway, boys, let's move on. My Mouldy again. Last one for me. Panthers head to head. Under 19.5 first half points. I think this will be a defensive battle to start with and might open up in the second half. And Stephen Crichton to get across. So 3 legs there again. $6.36 thanks to TopSport.
That's not bad. I actually like that first half bet because both sides will come out roaring.
I think so. I think it'll be a great game. Great opening stanza.
I reckon it'll be fast too. It'll be super fast.
Will be, yeah. Fantastic. Should be a good one. Super Saturday, boys, kicking us off. Manly versus the Tigers, Saturday, 3 p.m, 4 Pines Park out there at Brookie. $1.18 Manly, $4.90 for the Tigers. The line is set at 14.5. You can get Manly at $1.95 at the minus or the Tigers at $1.85 at the plus. Tigers were pretty woeful last week. I think they only got that 1 try. Manly were valiant with only 12 men.
What was
Thoughts?
the line?
Line is 14.5.
Manly. Jeez, that's not. That's. Yeah. Having said that, the Tigers aren't playing. Well, they're playing better now than what they were. But having said that too, Tigers aren't playing the best. Manly aren't playing the best. That's a massive line.
Mate,
Turbo's back, but
talking Turbo being back, but also looking at the Tigers. So you've got Dane Laurie already out. Nofaluma out with concussion, and Luciano Leilua also out. If you look across the tries, they'd be 3 of the top 5 try scorers, I reckon.
For club-wise, yeah.
So they've lost a lot of their strike power with those 3 being out. So
In saying that, I'm looking at that run-on squad. Mamalo for a try. Other than that, you're going to be sort of stretching, aren't you?
yeah, you look at that back line. Stafford Toa, Kapoa, I think I've never even heard of him, sorry. Oliver Gildart, he got dropped the other week because his defence was awful. Lukey Garner, who's a second row playing in the centres, and Ken Mamalo, the captain, one off. It's a pretty poor back 5, to be honest, in my opinion. Inexperienced, haven't played a lot of games together, and I just don't know where their points come from.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah. It's going to be an actual lucky dip on who's going to score if they score.
Yeah, 100%. Your Mouldy hit this. We'll take another quick little break.
Is it mine or Chez's?
Yours. It's your Saturday night.
Oh, yeah, it is too. Sorry. I'm looking at the wrong paper. So I've got Turbo. Anytime, if he's in. Hopefully he is in. I'm going to go Olakawatu. Anytime try scorer at Manly head-to-head, and that's $17.40.
Nice. Saab's out too. I think something with his toe might be a bit of the gout.
Turf toe.
Oh, look out! Might have had too many tomatoes, too many beers, etc. So, but I think Olakawatu, the way he was playing last week, I reckon it's going to be a crash. Over
well, he got suspended last week. He was out last week, so
the weekend before. Sorry,
he'll be hungry because of being out.
100%. So,
the time is just about to tick over, boys. We'll take a quick break. Come back, hit the last 4 games after this. Stick around.
Having a bet on sport this week? Top this.
Whether you're into cricket and curling or golf and greyhounds, TopSport will let you on for plenty. And with literally hundreds of markets from your own backyard to the international stage, TopSport has you well covered. So if you want to get the top odds every time, bet with TopSport.
Top that. Download the app today. TopSport. Feel the excitement.
Don't let the game play you. Stay in control. Gamble responsibly.
All right, let's hit these last 4 games, boys. We've got the Roosters up against the Titans. This one's Saturday, 5:30, BB Prince Stadium up there in Mackay, taking the game on the road again, which is great. We love that here. Roosters are the favourite, $1.30. Titans, $3.55 outsiders. The line is set at 9.5. You can get the Roosters at the minus for $1.80 or the Titans at the plus for $2. $2 line there for the Titans if you like them, 9.5. Ches, I'll throw to you first. Roosters obviously got defeated last week against the Bulldogs, the week before against the Dragons. They're looking at 3 straight. Titans were valiant against the Panthers in that first half, faded in the second. How do you see this playing out? You mentioned there before that you could be looking at 3 straight. Did you mean that, or was it just off the cuff?
No, definitely do. Titans are a better side than the last 2 sides that the Roosters have faced. That's why I'm a little bit worried. Yep. They're going to come up against a tougher competition this week with the Titans. And if they're not going to gel anytime in the next, 72 hours, whatever it is, they're in big trouble. Big trouble. A bit of a catch-22 situation here. I was hoping Adam Kieran to play a lot more this year. They put him on, now he's out injured, so they're missing him.
They put him in for his kicking, and he missed them all last
horrible.
week.
Horrible.
They would have won if his kicking game was on.
Yep. And now the other one is Nguama's been dropped, but we got Momorowski back, and he hasn't done much at all. Very, very, very quiet, along with the hands of Crichton as well. We're still waiting for him to do something yet this year. Yeah. Nowhere near. If you're going to do a player rating, Birdo, don't put him in because it'll be fucking blowing up big time.
Well, maybe I might just to have you on.
We'll go from an 8.5 down to a 1.
We've got to put him back on the left side.
It's just very frustrating. I've been sitting through him. Now, I didn't watch the game last week. I was going to watch the replay. I went on to check my bets, and I seen that there was no money got put back into my account, so I know they lost. It's just deflating. Yeah. See, Freddie's picked Teddy for the number 1 spot. I'm 50-50 on that. I think there's players out there that are playing better than him. Yes, he does play good rep footy, though. That's the 50-50 call. Yep. He really steps up for those Origin games. Mate, this is going to be hard. I'm glad it's Birdo's Molly for this week for this game, mate, because this is a tough one for me.
Just looking there too, boys. David Fafita out with a knee. He'll miss a few weeks there, 4 or 5, I think.
Who's playing the centres for him?
Brian Kelly and Patrick Herbert comes back in. So, anything you want to say, mate? You're Māori as well.
No, I think you're. I don't know, Ches. I think you're a bit harsh on the Chooks at the moment.
Harsh but fair.
It's only early in the season. The way I see it, a lot has changed from the previous seasons, and going off previous seasons. If there's anything that will happen, that'll improve or they'll be better at, and it's I think it'll be Trent Robinson will be the bloke to do it. He's a mastermind of the game. You have a look at his resume over the last 5 to 6 years, mate. The bloke's a freak, and he does a lot.
I think too with Keary, his biggest problem is because of his injury. So he was back playing with the guys that aren't there anymore.
Absolutely,
so then he's had to come back this year.
It's a total different chemistry,
so different for him.
So
I think that's one of the big problems too.
Different leadership. You're not as many old heads there. Your friend, your coordinator, etc. So,
and Robbo did mention take 8 to 10 weeks to get it gelling. We're up to round 9. And I tell you what, like I said just before, we're nearly halfway through the season. They're going to lose a few players to Origin in a couple of weeks' time. They've got to really kick it into gear very soon. Otherwise, they're going to be in the back end of that 8, maybe fading out. To be honest, if they don't get in, if they pick up an injury, Teddy gets injured. You know what I mean? They've got to get some wins on the board.
Quickly, just real quickly, I don't mind losing the game if you play well.
Yeah,
and you get out and play fucking shit against shit sides and get rolled. That's what annoyed me. That's what annoyed me for the last 2 weeks.
No, I'd rather get pumped by 100 than lose by 1.
Anyway,
my multi, Ches, I'm gonna ride the Chooks here. There's a lot of weight on them now that I'm on them.
Ride the Cocks.
So the
the old cock rider.
The old cock rider. So I'm gonna be on the Cocks. I'm gonna go points to be under 41.5, and I'm gonna go Sawali anytime try scorer. That's $5.72.
Just a 2-legger.
Just a 3-legger. So the
what did you do? Sorry.
So head to head.
Oh, you went Chooks head to head.
Yeah, Cox head to head. The points to be under 41.5.
Yeah.
And Sawali anytime try scorer.
Yeah.
So.
Good bet. I like Sawali. He's playing well. Fuck, he's massive.
He's a
Hopefully
big dude, bro.
Oh,
What is he, 20?
Yeah, he's only young.
No,
he's 19.
19, because he and
massive.
Penasini played schoolboy football together, they
Yeah,
reckon. Those
1 and
two
2.
were hands and heels above everyone else.
Yeah. Next game, boys. Cowboys versus the Knights. This one up at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. Saturday, 7:35. Round out Super Saturday. Cowboys the favourite, $1.15 after that great win last week. The Knights are $5.50 after only scoring 4 points in 2 games. The line is set at 15.5. You have the Cowboys at the minus for $1.90 and the Knights at the plus also for $1.90. Boys, the Cowboys' attack has been awful. They've dropped their 5'8" and their halfback is out injured. So a new pairing combination. I think that's the 4th this year for the Knights. Ponga isn't playing very well. Seems to be all going wrong there after starting the season so well with 2 wins. As you mentioned there on Sunday, mate, they're now the bottom of the table with that big blowout in the last 2 weeks. Well, they have 79 points to 4, I think, scored. The scoring has been. So not very well. Cowboys were really good last week, really good defensive effort. And one shout out too, Kyle Felt. Did you see that pass he picked up? Oh, yeah. One-handed. Scotty Drinkwater, you boys have been calling for him to stay in. I don't think he's going anywhere. The hammer came back last week. They used him off the bench. Peter Hiku subbed out. And he made an impact as soon as the hammer came on too, ended up scoring a try. They're going a lot better than I'm happy to eat my words. They're going a lot better than I gave them credit for at the start of this year than we all did. Defence, that last week was a big test to see how they go up against a genuine top 4 side. And I tell you what, boys, who's that player for the Cowboys? He's Ruben Cotter, is it?
Ruben Cotter, yeah. I'm looking at their team list now. Ruben Cotter.
God, he played a good game.
Mate, he destroyed Para through the middle. He and Taumalolo played phenomenal football on the weekend.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate, you keep going.
You're right. I was going to say, just looking at the team list now, so the Tabuai Fado, he's named at 14 again. But I was just looking here too, Jackie Granville. Geez, I tell you what, he's got the raw end of the stick if he's playing 19th man. I thought he was excellent over the last couple of years. Only problem is he's at the back end of his career sort of thing. But so, yeah, the hammer's on the bench, and I'd say by the sounds maybe Peter Hiku, unfortunately, might make way for him because I tell you what, Scotty Drinkwater ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. Peter Hiku's big enough where he could rotate in as a second rower.
Yeah, 100%.
Like an edge forward as well, so they could use that. It wouldn't, yeah.
So we said about Felt. He's been playing good for about 5 weeks.
Yeah.
He has. He's hitting some
Considering
form.
he was struggling so much at the end of last year, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
Couldn't catch a cold.
You never know. Like things like that, they could be injured too. Like you look at Ash Taylor, he said he's been carrying that hip injury for years, and everyone's been bagging him. It might have played a massive part in his downward fall.
I bet he did.
Spiral. So shout out to him as well, retiring. We'll get to that in the Warriors there as well. Your molt, mate, what do you got?
Yeah, my molt. So, boys, I'm going to stick with it third time lucky. It hasn't come off, but I'm going to stick with it third time lucky, and it's a first try scorer. And it's going to be Cole Felt, the man we're talking about. Cole Felt, first try scorer. Cowboys to win 13+, and the Cowboys are going to score the first try. That's the third leg of it, and that's only $6.81. So I think that reflects a little bit on how poorly Newcastle are actually playing at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think Newcastle could play much worse than they have the last 2 weeks. So I'm expecting them to come out and play a lot better. They might not get the victory, but I think there'll be a bit of effort there. And to be honest, I think this might be a low-scoring game with Cowboys' defence. And I think the Knights, I'm hoping that they might put in a bit of a defensive effort as well. So,
You reckon they'll get more than 2 points this game?
Don't know. They might kick a two-point field goals just to get 4 on the board.
I'll tell you what, there's a couple of memes circling around social media about the Newcastle Jets, the soccer side.
Scoring more points.
Is outscoring them. They won 3-0 on the weekend, and Newcastle got pumped for
I seen one last night. Excuse me. The Batman movie, The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
So they had the Batman costume, the Knight's Head logo photoshopped on top, the Dead Knight. Oh, love it. Heaps of them.
Storm versus the Dragons, boys. Sunday, 2 p.m. at Amy Park. The Storm are back home there. $1.05 favourites. Dragons, $10 if you do like the Dragons. The line is set at a massive 22.5. Storm are at the minus for $1.85, and you can get the Dragons at the plus for $1.95. How many points have the Storm scored in the last 2 weeks, boys?
Oh,
70 to 10. What did they put on Knights last week?
50 points to 4, so 130 points in 2 weeks.
yeah, crazy.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy. I would not surprise if they score somewhere in between that this week, between 50 and 70.
I think St George will be better. I'll tell you what. Melbourne are fucking damn good footballers at the moment. But St George, there was something in that. I don't know if it was a bit of desperality or what it was in that. Their second half, their first half was fairly ordinary against the Tigers. Sunday just gone.
Yeah.
But their second half was actually really good defensively, and they won the middle of the field. But having said that, they're playing the Tigers.
Yeah, that's right. And they've won 3 straight. They come off that Anzac Day victory against the Roosters.
That's huge emotionally. So,
I just think they might be on the dip down from that.
But I tell you what, they haven't said that. They might be brought back to reality by Melbourne this weekend.
100%. Hard to back against them. $1.05, almost unbackable.
I think kicking's been a bit off too. He hasn't been at his best either.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
maybe Clemmer put the fear of God into him.
Could have. Mate,
anything on the team list, boys?
Tapai Maroa.
Oh, he's out.
AC joint gone.
Yep.
Just come back from Ra.
Jackie Bird returns for the Dragons there, I can see as well. Your Mouldy, mate. Amone's back in as well there.
Sullivan out of the 17 too. Just reading.
He's doesn't mind making a few changes, old Hook.
Yes. Mate, anyone that's been following my tips, your bank account will feel the same as mine. Still on the big donut at the moment, the old bagel. Very conservative this week and very hopeful. Mate, I've gone Melbourne Storm 13+, over 41.5 points for the total points. Now, Pappenhauser anytime. Xavier Coates, 2 or more tries. I reckon he's going to get a few. $6.05 for those 4 legs. But that's very doable. I can see this being, say, 52 to 16 or something this game. It's going to be a lot of points.
I'd be surprised if Storm led in 16, to be honest.
Yeah, it's that as well.
Might be
there
56 to 8.
Yeah, I was just having a look there. I thought I should have nearly put in a little Moses Sully for an any-timer, but very conservative this week.
I think.
Very conservative.
Let's move on to the last game of the round, boys. Sharks versus the Warriors. This one's Sunday, 4 p.m. down there at Shark Park. Sharks are the favourite, $1.18. If you like the Warriors, $4.90. Matt Lodge laying down again. I heard 13.5 is the line. You get the Sharkies at the minus for $1.85 and the Warriors at the plus for $1.95. Boys, just looking across here, this is the first week I can remember that the home teams have all been the favourite. Looking there, every home team is at the minus for the line. Now, that obviously doesn't happen when Storm travel or when the Panthers travel. So if you like the home teams, or if you forget to put your bets in and your comp is defaulted to the away teams, make sure this is the one round you don't forget to put your tips in, because all the home teams are the favourite in this one. Sharks have dropped a bit. I think last week they really struggled. I put in our group chat Nico Hines' worst game. I think he was over-trying. I think he was trying too hard. Sometimes it just wasn't working for him. He was trying everything. He was dropping balls. He was forcing passes. They were going forward. It just wasn't clicking for them. Is Finucane, is Finucane back in? That is a big one. They've missed him. I'm not saying he's going to help with the drop ball, but it's his composure. He's been there before. He's his calm head. I think they've really missed him. McInnes was fantastic last week, and fuck, he's got an ugly head on him.
I tell you what, I'm just looking here. I've just put into the TopSport. I've calculated all 8 home teams all into one. It shows you how short some of these sides are. For 8 to pick the round, $6.22. All the home teams.
Wow.
That is nothing. That's how close it's going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, there's very, very heavy favourite there for the home teams. DWZ also comes back from that vicious head knock a couple of weeks ago. Looking there. And Jesse Arthur drops out of the squad, which I'm surprised about because he's been one of their best players and the leading try scorer, I think you'll find as well. So
I said that the other day, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, yeah.
He's up there with the tries.
Yeah, how do you see this one playing out, boys? Who's going to get the victory?
I think Cronulla will be very, very strong. They'll be playing at home, Shark Park. I said it last week. I said it the week before. They get massive numbers when they play at home. This will be interesting to see how Talakai goes this week because he was... I wouldn't say brought back to reality. Yeah, well, he was
Stags handled him well.
Yeah, he was brought back to reality.
And come up against a quality centre.
It'll be interesting to see how he goes now. Realistically up against not much competition again, but boys, I think Cronulla will be way, way, way too strong.
Now, I think what happened with Cronulla last week was what happened is the expectations of their game the week before.
Absolutely.
I think they thought they had to go out and recreate what happened again.
Score on every play.
Brisbane were well. Katoni Staggs marked him well. That got a lot of media attention as well. You look back at someone like Kyle Felt. He outplayed Tupou a few weeks ago when the Cowboys played the Roosters. Nothing got said. Outshined him.
Yeah.
Tupou couldn't do a thing. Felt was just there. They've built this up, so I think they might have had to, like you were saying, they were trying too hard, expected to do what they'd done the week before. I think they might, hopefully they settle back down and just play their normal game. Finucane's massive coming back this week. Really hope the Sharkies get up here. Been enjoying watching them play. Very a surprise in the latter results. If you look at where they've been the last handful of years to where they are now,
Yeah, definitely.
really, really good to see, mate. I've got another little malt here for this game. I've got the Sharkies 13 plus. Now over 42.5 points again. I reckon there's going to be a few on. Sione Katoa, the big Talakai, and the attack of the Zalesniak. DWZ, any timers, $15.06.
That's not bad. It's good. That's spicy odds
Big
too.
5 legs.
Boys, on a scale of 1 to 10, this is a question without notice. Scale of 1 to 10, what do you rate Cronulla as a genuine premiership contender?
10 being the highest.
10 being the highest, yeah. This isn't no Fletcher 90.
They're not genuine. It's a 2-horse race for the premiership for me, Melbourne and Penrith. I think when I started, I had them come in 7th. They're a genuine top 4 team.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as long as Finucane can stay in that squad for as long as he can, they need him. They've really missed him the last couple of weeks. I think people are sort of maybe overlooking the impact he's had on that squad, and him being out the last 2 weeks, they haven't played great footy. Genuine top 4, I think, this year, but not a premiership. I'm going a 5.
I'm going to say they're guaranteed to make the 6. Yeah, definitely up there. Short price FODs for the 4. There'd have to be something major happen with Melbourne and or Panthers for them to get into that final, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's they're just too strong. But if something like that does happen, they're the team. They're the team that can slot through. You'd be looking at, like, say, Para, Sharks, maybe South. If Roosters get some hair gel, then they can start gelling, maybe them. But apart from that,
2-horse race.
Yeah,
it was only
just the
that watching some Fox League and it came up and it was asked, are they a genuine contender? And they all nodded. They said, yeah, they are. Yeah. I said, unless something catastrophic happens. But having said that, it's funny. You make finals and the crazy things can happen and then have happened. So, but no, in my eyes, I don't think they are.
All right, boys, that's all our bets for the games wrapped up. Now, charity bets $15 on each leaves us with $30 left over. Now, previous weeks we've all had a little dig. We've had multi-legs between us. We've had an individual nothing. We've gone further abroad here, boys.
Let me guess.
We've brought him in.
The man, the myth.
We've brought in the man, the myth, the legend himself, the guru. Regular viewers of the show will hear us talk about him all the time. He's a mystic figure, betting savant, I think you could probably call him.
He'd be the best punter I've ever seen.
Now, we can't show his face. He's similar to a dentist. We're not allowed to show his face. But he sent us in a bet this week, boys, and I quite like it. So I said, send us in a bet, guru. We need something. We need to get some points on the board. So he's gone a little 3-leg here, but he's split it across a few games. So he's gone Parramatta plus 19.5.
Ooh.
So, sorry, plus 19.5 at the line.
At the line, yeah.
Yeah. Over 41.5 points in the Melbourne Storm versus St George Dragons game. And also over 42.5 total points in the Cronulla New Zealand Warriors game. So that one is $4.93 from the guru. So as I mentioned, he's a bit of a betting savant. He's a guy we go to for a bit of advice, a bit like a fatherly figure. Less hair than my dad.
I tell you, he wasn't a fatherly figure down at headquarters on Saturday night because it was his birthday on Saturday.
For those of you that know who the guru is, you do. But for those of you that don't, you will never know his identity, I can guarantee you. Because we want all the tips to ourselves.
Shit hot punter.
So we're having our last 30 on that, boys.
When I've worked in pubs and clubs all around town, I've never seen a gambling gazelle such as him.
Yeah,
he is an absolute machine.
Good.
Damn
Good.
Just so precise. Like, I've been down having a beers with him and stuff sometimes, and I'll be looking at the TAB screens, pick something that's paying like $11. Like, oh yeah, no, this thing will win.
Screamer.
Rumps home. Yeah. How the fuck did you pick that? He just does. He's good.
So that's where the rest of our money's going, boys.
He's a big sports fan. Yeah, that's what helped. He's got a broad range of knowledge. So if anyone needs some tips, write in, message us or something, and we'll get on the guru.
We'll see how that plays out this week. We might give him a month of May, I reckon. We'll give him a run for a month of May, see how he goes. What do you reckon? We're going to wrap up, boys. We are way over time. We are very excited. New studio, new set, new desk. Thank you to Damo. Custom built this desk for us. It's fantastic. Suits us down the ground. Thanks again to I Am Cartoonified for the great graphic behind us. As we mentioned before, head on over to their website. Get 15% off store-wide. Not only NRL, they do Disney, Simpsons, all that kind of stuff as well. Fantastic. Shout out to the North Sydney Bears for producing such quality T-shirts. I love that shirt. Anything else, boys, before we go?
The same game multi for their hats.
How good are the hats? We'll be sending many of those out too to our punters, our listeners. Get the word out there. So if you do want a hat, let us know. We'll give you a shout. So
what colours are the black, light blue, dark blue,
navy,
and the pink?
And the pink.
There's only a few pinks. It's a limited edition.
Pinks are a limited edition, so they don't come out very often.
No, it's exclusive club. If you see someone wearing a pink same game multi hat, they are the shit. Let me tell you.
Now, don't forget your tips, and those two boys that won the prizes too.
Yeah.
Make sure you get in contact with us.
Definitely, we'll send them out to you. Until next week, enjoy the footy, gamble responsibly, and don't eat your soup with a fork.